All right, man, I want y'all to go check out my boy Dame J new album, No Regrets. And I'm telling you, this brother got 10 straight bangers on here, not a filler song. Upper echelon engineering, production, and obviously he got the bars. Definitely a banging album right here. You don't want to miss out on this. One of the best underground albums I heard. So go check out his new album as soon as possible. I'll put the Apple and Tidal links in the description, but it's on all streaming platforms. Go check out my boy Dame J. You won't be disappointed. Peace. Jay-Z had a conversation with the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. Hopefully I said his name right. But first, Floyd Mayweather steps up to pay for George Floyd's funerals and a lot of the ceremonies they have across the United States for him. Let's talk about that first. You can check TMZ Sports out for the article, but it says Floyd offers to pay for George Floyd's funeral. He says following his heart, but it sounds like it may be a little bit of a reason why. But hey, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video, check our music entertainment playlist out. Floyd has been, the poster boy for, being a whipping boy, being a raccoon. I mean, all lives matter, being friends with Donald Sterling, defending him and Donald Trump as well. But, over the years, he has took care of funerals, all right? He has did his part in the community that he always don't, publicize. But he says Floyd Mayweather offered to pay for George Floyd's funeral services, with the boxing superstar personally vowing to help Floyd's family grieve their loss. TMZ Sports has confirmed Mayweather is offering to finance all 4 services for Floyd in Houston, Minnesota, Charlotte, and another location yet to be named at a later date. We're told Mayweather felt it was the right thing to do after learning Ansel Jennings, CEO of TMT music label, grew up with Floyd. Okay, so one of his boys, Ansel Jennings, or girls, I don't know if that's a boy or girl name, sorry, could be unisex, grew up with George Floyd, and that's the connection right there. Mayweather people added Floyd is just doing what he feels is right in his heart. It's unclear if George Floyd family has accepted Floyd Mayweather's offer, so we have to see. The story is developing, but he's offered to pay for his 4 services that he will have going across the United States. He's from I think he's from Port Arthur with Steven Jackson, but Floyd is known to do stuff like this. Instead of sitting out on people waiting for him to send out a tweet, or if he haven't sent out a tweet, an Instagram post, or a Facebook post, or got on Fight Hype to talk about it, but he doing it with his cash first. So you ain't mad at that. He helped one of his music label people out, and I remember he had Filthy Rich Records, and I didn't know he still had a music label. I know his kids do music, and I know he had an opportunity to sign Future, Young Thug, which it would have set his music label to another stratosphere. But that's good, man. We need people to step up, not just tweet and talk and do things and put it in action. Just because celebrities ain't speaking up or tweeting or going live about the situation, and it's a lot of them some of them that are, I'm not going to say a lot, maybe some of them behind the scenes are trying to operate like a surgeon to get things done. And with Floyd doing this, if they accept the offer, which I don't understand why they wouldn't, he doing more than sending a tweet or sending a post out, not just paying for one service, but paying for all 4. So, at the end of the day, that can easily be his son. That can easily be his daughter. Breonna Taylor could be his son. Drayshawn Reed, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. They can easily be a family member. And a lot of people around here that don't care about it, it can easily be you being racially profiled. So I think it's something that we need to take serious. I think it's something that the police chiefs across America, they need to do more to have some of their other officers, their white officers or officers that's not from the community, to bring them socially up to speed on how to deal with people in the neighborhood. And like I said before, each officer coming through the police academy should have to do anywhere from 100 to 250 hours of community service, straight up and down, in the community before they can actually hit the streets. They should work at the soup kitchens. They should work at the basketball games, work in the Walmarts, as police and security officers to get to know people in the community. They should work everywhere. Basketball games, they should, referee them. And they should work in the high schools as security. That's the best way to get to know people. And really in elementary schools, and maybe have book reading days where they read books to the kids. The youth is probably going to be the most, important thing to do. And also the homeless and the people that's, less fortunate, those are the people you need to reach. You'll be dealing with in the inner city the most. You'll be able to form that connection. So shout out to Floyd for doing the right thing. So let's talk about Jay. He called up the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, hope I say his name right, and basically asked him to prosecute all the cops that was involved. I think it was 4 altogether that was there, and let George Floyd basically be, executed in front of a whole neighborhood full of people. And instead of Jay sending out a tweet, he did issue a statement. And a lot of people getting on Jay-Z for saying, we passed kneeling, we passed this, that, and the third. And now it's coming to bite him in his ass. So now he got to go out there and try to make something jump. But this is a statement that he let ride off right here. He said, after our very earnest conversation, thank you, Governor Walz, hope I'm saying his name right, for doing what's right and calling in Attorney General Keith Ellison to take over the George Floyd case. Earlier today, Governor Walz mentioned having a human conversation with me, a dad, a black man in pain. Yes, I am a human, a father, a black man in pain, and I'm not the only one. Now, along with the entire country in pain, call upon A.G. Ellison to do the right thing and prosecute all the responsible for the murder of George Floyd to the fullest extent of the law. This is just the first step. I am more determined to fight for justice than any fight my would-be oppressors may have. I prevail on every politician, prosecutor, and officer in the country to have the courage to do what's right, have the courage to look at us as humans, dads, brothers, sisters, mothers in pain, and look at yourself. Sean Jay-Z Carter. And I definitely agree with all of his statement. Keith Ellison is a black man, so they got a black prosecutor in here to make a jump. It's a lot of pressure on him to do the right thing and prosecute. It's just not him saying, I'm going to prosecute you. He got to do his due diligence. He has to do his interviews. He has to do his investigation. And then he can drop the hammer down. So the charges of third-degree murder, those can be elevated to whatever degree, and the manslaughter charge can be elevated, or in some same world, they could be dropped. So it's a lot of pressure on Ellison to execute this plan, but, does he have the power to do so, or will he be facing some backlash from, other people behind the scenes to go down light on him? Will he take a payoff where they threaten his life? So those are all things you got to be considered in this situation. Jay-Z helped get a black prosecutor in there. That's probably more than a lot of people can be able to do, and he using his pull. So you got to get credit where credit is due. And I'm behind Keith Ellison 100%. Hopefully he does prosecute every officer involved. That sound like bare minimum me, accessory to murder, and then watching him murder a guy. And it sound like Derek Chauvin and George Floyd had a prior history. That's why I say now you think you tough now, or whatever he says, because they worked at the same bar together. So they had history, okay? So don't act like they didn't. So I think this was more personal than racist, all right? But yet again, it's still somebody killing a black man. I think it's personal. I think it's very, very personal. He could still be a racist, but I think it was personal. I think they had run-ins at their job, and just like when any other coworker you bump heads with. But nonetheless, it still had, topped off a lot of racial tension going in the country with the MAG and Donald Trump, with Joe Biden spending his piece, with Breonna Taylor dying and Louisville being innocent and being aspiring, she was an EMT and aspiring to be something higher. I forget. Drayshawn Reed getting shot in the back of Indianapolis was going swept under the rug. I'm not letting that go. He was an unarmed black man just running away from the police. You're not supposed to shoot him in his back. And also Ahmaud Arbery, not gonna let that go. That came out months later. Imagine if the corona never came out. Well, we even heard of that story. And obviously George Floyd. So they got to make an example. They got to take his life. And don't forget with the with the Abner Geiger situation, she killed an innocent black man and didn't get life. So they've been getting off. And like I said before, Michael Vick did more time for fighting dogs than cops did for killing innocent black people across America. And that's the issue. And you got to set the precedent. You got to set the example. You got to take this man's life away from him and take the other cops' life away from him to let cops know you're not going to be able to sweep shit under the rug. And we going to get justice no matter if we black, dark skin, light skin, mixed. We equal part of this country, if not more, because we built this shit. We fought their wars. We helped them get freedom from Great Britain. So we deserve to put respect in our name. And shout out to Floyd for coming through with the money back. And shout out to Jay-Z for getting a black prosecutor in place. And that was real. You know what I'm saying? That's something that Jay-Z been under a lot of fire lately. But you got to give credit where credit is due. And I think it came from a right place in his heart. So, And, for all these Lil Waynes and Dojo Cats and, Desi Banks, the Facebook comedian or social media comedian, he lost a lot of followers for Buck Dancing and Raccoon yesterday on Twitter. We good to have at least Floyd trying to step up, Jay trying to step up, and a lot of other dudes behind the scenes are stepping up. Check out our music entertainment playlist, more videos like this and current news playlists. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to me if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Twitter's the fastest way. The IG. Want to make a donation? Just hit that share button for your boy one time for the one time. Rest in power to George Floyd and all the rest that following with him this year.